Putin will hold talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping during the two-day trip. The Kremlin says the two leaders will discuss bilateral issues, and the Russian president is expected to discuss U.S. President Donald Trump's recent visit to China. A lot to get to now. Joining us now is CNN contributor and former CNN Moscow bureau chief Jill Dougherty. She is also an adjunct professor at Georgetown University. Jill, thank you so much for joining us. A lot to get to. Let's talk first about these Ukrainian drone strikes near Moscow. What's your thinking on this? Is Ukraine deliberately bringing the fight to Russian civilians?
Oh, there's no, well, actually, on the civilian part, I don't think that is necessarily what's going on. What they're trying to do, the Ukrainians, is with these drones, and it really is massive. That was the word, actually, that the Moscow mayor used. What they're hitting is they hit an oil refinery, as you mentioned. They've also been hitting sites that manufacture components, like high-tech components for missiles, et cetera. But you'd have to say that overall, where they're going at is the energy supply, because the energy supply, what Russia exports, is really funding the war. So they're hitting that a lot, you know, oil refineries, a pumping station, et cetera. And in addition, I think it's really significant, they hit 14 different regions in Russia, at least. And it includes Moscow region, which is very well protected by, you know, anti-missile, et cetera, protection. But drones are hard. Remember, President Putin had to change the parade on May 9th precisely because of drones and the possibility that they could hit Moscow.
So Ukraine, with these drone strikes, are going after the Russian energy supply. And we're monitoring reaction on social media inside Russia, and people are expressing shock. They are upset. Jill, do you think this domestic reaction could become a real problem for Vladimir Putin?
Well, on that side, I think the fact that these drones are hitting, and they have hit apartment buildings, they've killed some people in the Moscow region, that this is really very frightening and sobering for Russians, because you're right, it's now hitting the homeland, and the frustration there. I mean, some Russians, you can see a bit of uptick in Russians saying, let's end this war. But many times, and it's very hard, you know, to do any polling at this particular point, but they usually say, let's end the war on the conditions that Russia wants. And the problem right now is that negotiations are stuck in the water, and they don't appear to be going anywhere. So I think the prospect of more drone strikes, more drones hitting these areas that even are so well protected is very worrying for Russian citizens.
Yeah, talks going nowhere. We have these Ukrainian drone strikes hitting the Russian homeland, and now Putin will soon be hitting the road en route to China to visit Xi Jinping this coming days after the Trump visit in Beijing. And it's also amidst this assault by Ukraine. So, Jill, what do you make of the timing of this visit?
Yeah, I mean, there is an excuse that the Russians have, and maybe it's correct. The 25th anniversary of the 2001 Sino-Russian Treaty of Friendship. But actually, it is extremely notable that he's going right after Trump was there. And actually, before Trump, the Iranians went to Beijing. So this is all very interesting. But I think, obviously, what Putin wants to do is, number one, say, hey, what did you talk about with Donald Trump? He wants a readout on the Trump visit. And then also, I think they definitely want to talk about the Strait of Hormuz, the Iran war, supply of energy, et cetera. Then you have, I guess, number three would be, here's a graphic example of Putin back on the world stage, visiting Beijing after the American president. So that keeps him, out there in the public eye as a world leader. And then, of course, their bilateral relationship, which has to do, they're very close on many issues, including what's happening in Ukraine, et cetera.
They're going to talk about Hormuz. They're going to talk about energy, the bilateral relationship. It also sounds like Putin wants a proper briefing of what Donald Trump told Xi Jinping But what about Ukraine, Jill? You know, China has always positioned itself as a champion of international law, that it has deep respect for sovereignty. Do you think Xi and Putin would ever have an awkward conversation about Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
Well, at this point, the Chinese are really being careful. They're helping the Russians on some level with technology, but they're not really trying to, let's say, overtly say, yes, Russia, this is, a war that you should be fighting. And I think if you look at the Chinese overall, they're being very careful in a lot of areas. I mean, even on Iran, if you look at the war, the Chinese get a lot of oil from the Middle East, and it comes through the Strait of Hormuz, but they also get a lot from Russia. So that I think is really a crucial thing right now. If you can't get it from the Strait of Hormuz, then that is going to help Russia, because China will get more from Russia. So that, I think, is really a big part of the discussions and whatever they negotiate. They could actually negotiate a new pipeline, which they've been talking about, which would go from Siberia to China. That's not definite. We'll have to see what they come up with.
Yeah, it's a Russian pipeline dream that Russia has been pushing for a while now. This is a no-limits relationship that is ever evolving. Jill Dougherty, thank you for analysis as always, and take care.
Thank you.
Now to our next